gone to every single E3 since the first one, those many years ago, but there's never been a show like this one before.
Microsoft sort of pushing their 360 lineup, Sony coming out of the gate with the PS3, Nintendo kind of showing off the revolution, but kind of not.
And then kind of after that, people realized that, wait a second, those games aren't going to be here for many months to a year or something like that.
It was much more about the hardware this year than the games, but that's not to say that there weren't some really good games coming out of the show.
Now, the Editor's Choice Awards are all about how the games were presented at E3.
There are more than 1,000 different games on display at E3, and it takes a lot for one of these games to stick out and impress us.
We're not here to predict what games will be good. We're just talking about what games impressed us with their presence at the show.
We're just saying that the demos that were constructed specifically for E3 in many cases left a really good impression and left us wanting more.
Spore is the next game from Will Wright, the guy who made The Sims and SimCity.
You start off literally as like a germ. You're a microscopic germ swimming around in a raindrop, and you're just eating other germs that are smaller than you.
And so you evolve into a multicellular organism, then you evolve into something a little more, eventually you get to human beings or what the equivalent of.
You can create your own tribe, you can create your own city, you can create your own civilization, you can take over the world. You can research flying saucers that will let you travel off the planet, take over the galaxy.
The fact that you can go from being an amoeba to the ruler of the universe is kind of mind-blowing. Oh no!
Zombies!
I don't know where this came from. I don't know why this all of a sudden was the year of the zombie, but...
Zombies, baby.
There were so many good zombie games at E3 this year, but Stubbs the Zombie, probably the most interesting because it's the one that you actually play as a zombie.
You're a traveling salesman and you died. Decades later, some mad scientist builds this weird city of the future over your grave, and it kind of wakes you up.
So it totally flips the script on the whole zombie movie idea.
And so you have to go basically kill a lot of human beings to make things right.
Where you actually get to go and be the guy who eats brains and turns everyone else into zombies, and then you have the army of zombies on your side.
The Killzone 2 trailer was, I think, the first thing where I saw real evidence of what next generation gaming really ought to be like.
It was something we just kept going back and we just had to load it and watch it again and again.
You see like the guy over there on the other airship and he's like waving to the guys in the main ship, and it's like 2 seconds later he's dead.
It's very impressive. It's also very obviously not representative of actual gameplay.
Oh God, he looked like such a nice guy. He wanted to wave.
This is not an actual game at this point. This is an idea.
I don't know if it's a game or not. Maybe it's real time. Maybe it's pre-rendered. Who knows?
And I guess the jury's still out on that one, even though Sony said it was real time. But that can mean a lot of different things.
Regardless of how that game finally turns out, what that trailer is going to do is it's going to raise the bar.
Well, I'll be very, very surprised if they can get gameplay to look as good as that.
You'd best believe that the designers of any kind of high-profile action game are looking at that real carefully and going, okay, that's what we have to do.
Phoenix Wright is a game, it's been coming out for years in Japan. It's called Gyakuten Saiban.
It's a series called Gyakuten Saiban.
That's probably not even close to how it's really pronounced.
Or I think I'm pronouncing that wrong.
It's called Crazy Japanese Lawyer Game.
Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, he makes me want to go to law school real bad so that I can yell objection across the room and
objection!
Have awesome Kazuya Mishima hair, and
it's a legal anime adventure series.
It's like a cross between Law and Order,
Full Metal Alchemist,
Legally Blonde,
One Life to Live,
and Dragon Ball Z, if you can imagine that.
Lots of lawyering going on.
Think ahead, and you will become a champion.
Age of Conan is a very unique, massively multiplayer role-playing game.
Get Arnold Schwarzenegger out of your head, because this is all based on the original stuff.
It's going to have, first of all, this very comprehensive single-player component, where basically you take a character and go from level 1 to about level 20 or so.
You know, the host class, and then you have the band leader class, and then, you know, they control their pets in the band.
And then once you're done with that, you can go, hey, let's take this really cool, like, barbarian character I created, and let's go online and play with them with others.
It's going to be a very savage game, a very brutal game with real-time combat. So you can slice off people's arms and heads. It's going to be pretty brutal, but it should be pretty cool.
Basically, it seems like a really unique take on the genre. Oh, Conan.
Yeah, Guitar Hero.
That like rocker guy with the mullet, and he's like rocking the jean jacket.
It's totally Guitar Freaks, but they're kind of adding in their sort of amplitude-like mechanics to it.
I like played in a Rush cover band with that guy in high school.
They've got a 5-button guitar with a frickin' whammy bar on it.
The Pinky, I don't think, is really meant for gaming.
And you're gonna be able to just, you know, play these guitars and play licensed songs.
There was some Jimi Hendrix,
Some ZZ Top,
there was some Megadeth,
Donnas.
but top of the list for me was Boston's More Than a Feeling. Without a doubt, the best puzzle slash rhythm slash whatever game of the show.
Rock.
Soul Calibur 3 was just an easy sweep for the fighting game category at E3. There was not any other fighting game that came close.
Not a lot of fighting games at the show this year.
Kind of a weak year for fighting games, I gotta say.
Where are the fighting games at E3, you know?
That's a very well-liked 3D fighting game series, and the third one, which is going to be exclusive to the PS2, has these cool new characters in it, and you know, is once again playing it pretty safe, but boy, you see that game and you just want to start playing it.
Burnout Revenge, yeah, that game.
We thought that 2005 was going to be like the year of like the hardcore driving sim, but another Burnout, you can't count it out. It's just an awesome series.
Burnout 3 Takedown, there was nothing wrong with that game. And I really didn't know how they were going to top it.
You know, the ability to crash into traffic from behind and just kind of push stuff out of the way totally changes the way that you play the game.
They call it checking, like you're playing hockey with cars or something.
The way they changed that mechanic is pretty crazy, and I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out in the end, just because it's going to be so radically different from the experience of Burnout 3.
Playing that game, you understand the subtitle Revenge. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. The fact that you can use crash breakers like anytime when you get in a race.
It sounds really ambitious. It sounds like it's going to be more than just your average, you know, driving game sequel, and that's what's really got me excited about the game.
But a darkness comes. The blood tide rises.
The first big RPG on Xbox was The Elder Scrolls 3, and so it seems a bit fitting that the first one for Xbox 360 will be Elder Scrolls 4.
It's got a whole new engine, all new graphics, all new technology. It looks great.
If you're familiar with the Elder Scrolls series, it puts you in a gigantic world.
It's a world that, you know, you can feel like you can just reach out and touch it, and it seems like it's going to be another one of those, you know, kind of get lost in the experience games.
It's going to feel like you're in an actual like MMO, but you're not. You're like the center of attention.
It's got a bunch of new systems, like an all-new AI system called Radiant AI, where all the characters kind of have their own individual needs and their own individual schedules.
So you're going to be walking around this world, and everybody around you is going to be doing their own thing. Like, you know, the farmer's going to be waking up at dawn and working in the field and going back, and you know, you can kind of interact with them that way. But then you're going to also get these quests that make you go around, run around the world, killing monsters and everything.
Oblivion just looks like a bigger, better version of Morrowind. It's coming out for the PC and the Xbox 360. It looks really, really impressive.
By the time you see this, I'll be dead in Battlefield 2.
Battlefield 2 just looks really impressive.
Actually, for Battlefield 2, can you just tape me going, yeah?
Yeah, it's going to be an online shooter. It's going to be team-based.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to have on-foot action. It's going to have vehicles, all the stuff that you'd expect from a Battlefield game.
Yeah.
But it's all going to be turned up a notch.
Everyone's best smoke and mirrors all coming to bear, trying to blow our minds and all that, but like, no, we gave it to the game that we could sit there and play, and pretty much just wanted to steal and continue playing at home.
Basically, there are just more vehicles, more classes, a lot more action. There's going to be just a much more fast-paced game.
You're jumping into choppers and just...
You're going to be in modern vehicles, so you'll have tanks that can actually floor it.
Running people over in your Humvee.
There's also going to be an all-new commander mode.
You'll run up and you'll see him hunched over, and that's because the player is looking at a big-ass battlefield map, sending satellite imaging to people and saying, you know, you guys need to go here and take this, you guys need to go here and take this.
It looks like it should be one of the first games that really pushes people to get voice over IP and to actually chat with their teammates during the games.
It just looks really great, and good thing it's coming out this summer, because pretty much nothing else is.
Super Mario Strikers is a soccer game, which might not be immediately noticeable from the title. It's not some crazy military-themed Mario game.
You know, it's totally a Mario sports game. It's what you expect from a Mario sports game. It's wacky, it's crazy, all the characters are there.
Donkey Kong, you know, setting balls on fire and stuff.
Super shots, you can throw people into the walls when they get electrified.
I don't know anything about soccer. I know that I like to call it footy whenever Justin Calvert's around.
You know, Mario Golf is great, Mario Tennis is great.
Footy.
You play that and it's like, you know, even if you don't really like soccer games, it feels real intuitive, real fun.
It's just a really fun, simple Mario sports game that looks like it's going to be quite a lot of fun to have some friends over and play with when it comes out in November.
Fear, I think, is easily one of the most promising PC games on the horizon.
Basically, the developers say in a sentence that the game is kind of like The Matrix meets The Ring, that Japanese horror movie.
Where there's like supernatural, you know, ghostly little girl walking around exploding dudes' heads with, you know, fountains and fountains of blood.
I don't care. You can take out the Ring elements, you take out the scary Japanese little girl and everything like that, and this game is still like the best shooter I've played in years. It just feels awesome.
And then you've got these badass commandos walking around with huge guns and they're just tearing up the building all Matrix style. And
you're running around in an office building, you've got a machine gun, you're firing it, and just crap is flying everywhere.
Stuff's falling off the walls, paper shooting up into the air. There's just a lot of particles and effects going on.
We had to chase down guys because they were jumping over windows, they were crawling on their bellies.
I'd never seen that in a game, and it made me stop.
They were just really, really smart enemies. Fear looks like it's going to be a really cool, really challenging shooter.
It's like an amazing game just to play. And then, yes, you have all the scary Japanese stuff, which some of it's pretty evil, I have to tell you. You'll jump a lot.
Gunstar Superheroes is like the old-time video game nerd's absolute dream come true.
This is one of those games that people fell in love with back on the Genesis, that a lot of people kind of regard as one of the greatest, you know, side-scrolling shooters of all time.
Just one of those kind of Contra Metal Slug types of experiences, but it's so blown out of proportion that it's not even funny.
And it's interesting to see them finally doing a sequel. It's also more interesting to see that it's coming out for the GBA. The graphics on the game look better than what you would expect a GBA to be able to do.
The fact that you'll be able to have something this intense in a little portable game is going to be really cool.
New Super Mario Brothers is basically a lot like the old Super Mario Brothers games, but all kind of thrown together.
I'm just really happy that Nintendo decided that side-scrolling was the way to go.
They've taken all the stuff you love about the 2D Mario games, the side-scrolling, the going in the pipes, the fire flowers, all that stuff.
Maybe it's because I'm half Italian, but I always felt a connection to the Mario.
And then they've given Mario a lot of the moves that he learned in kind of his 3D games. So you've got your little breakdance kick, your woo, and then your wall jump stuff.
Keeping it in the roots, but incorporating that new stuff, it really seems like it could be really cool.
So Mario's going to kind of retain that acrobatic stuff, but bring it back into a 2D world.
The demo of Pursuit Force that they had on the show floor is pretty limited, but from what we can tell, it's going to be this kind of weird mishmash of different sorts of action styles.
You start out as just like a really slick driving game.
Footy. I'm driving. Oh, it's a driving game. Oh, I got to catch these cars. Maybe I'll have to run them off the road when I get up there. No.
Like you're on the freeway and you're in a car and then you get out of the car and then you jump on another car to kill dudes.
At which point it's kind of a shooter where you're sort of dodging and trying to shoot through the window.
They're kind of shooting at you out of the windows and you've got to avoid their bullets, shoot them.
You know, you can get down and hide because they're shooting back at you.
And you take them all out, you steal their car, and you carry on.
And it's just straight up like chase scene, high energy impact, crazy Michael Bay madness.
Catch all the suspects, and then you get in this helicopter and it turns into a rail shooter, and you're basically just mowing stuff down with a Gatling gun.
If they can keep that going, that pace of like constantly changing what you're doing, that game's going to be totally amazing. So probably the weirdest buzzword to come out of E3 this year is not Generation Remix.
When I went to see the Black demo, Criterion was actually kind of talking some smack about the game.
It's gun porn.
In that sense, not in like, you know, you're having sex with guns or anything.
Gun porn.
They are trying to deliver Burnout for shooters.
Gun porn.
The most impressive thing when you see this game running is just that everything breaks in the environment.
Basically what they showed was just a ton of enemies at every turn, all of them firing at you.
Glass shatters, concrete blows up in chunks.
Stuff's kind of like popping off around you.
Wooden doors splinter, everything that you shoot explodes in some kind of impressive way.
Maybe they're getting a little bit closer to the feeling of what it's actually like to be shot at, which I'll tell you, is freaky.
Korea apparently, I didn't know this before I became aware of the Kingdom Under Fire games, loves death metal.
Last year's Kingdom Under Fire game, which was the Crusaders, was probably one of the biggest surprises last year.
So those games kept kind of always going over behind Brad, who was playing it at the time, with this Korean death metal just filling the office, and everybody just kind of standing behind him going like this while he's playing the game.
So now they're working on this new one, Heroes, and apparently they're going to kind of change the balance so that there's a little more action and strategy this time.
And it's going to build on what made that game so great and improve, the few things that could have made that game much better.
The new characters and the new moves they've added in.
It just has this really amazing style to it and is going to have like 30 or 50 hours of gameplay, way more Xbox Live modes. Like, it's going to have everything.
Of course, it will still have the death metal track, so like Brad will still be very happy.
Full Auto was one of those games that we kept talking about both immediately before the show and during the show, and people were like, what's that game all about? And we would just simply explain, it's Burnout with guns.
But you just get in this really tricked out car that's got all these machine guns and rocket launchers and stuff on it, and you just tear through this city and blow up every other car and every building and every obstacle that gets in your way.
You've got rockets and machine guns, and you're just kind of unloading on cars as you're going. It also has this feature where you can unwreck.
The game really demonstrates what the Xbox 360 is capable of. It does look quite a bit better.
The big standout about Full Auto is the cars just break apart and blow up real nice.
It just looks like a whole lot of fun. It's a totally unpretentious game, but it looks like it's going to be a blast to play.
What Company of Heroes does is, aside from having really, really impressive graphics, they're adding this really cinematic quality to the game.
It is the closest thing to seeing something like Band of Brothers or Saving Private Ryan in sort of a strategy form.
The thing about that we noticed first is how smart the soldiers are. The AI is just crazy good.
Where you're not just moving around these little tiny units, they're actually kind of soldiers who are aware, they act like they've had training.
Your guys are smart, so you tell them to go walk up the street and they'll walk up the street kind of like normally.
As soon as they get there, they're looking for cover. They're going behind the corner.
And then as they come under fire, they'll all just scatter and look for cover.
To realize that you could control all that and play it is really impressive.
But also the game has this really impressive tech where you'll see stuff like really realistic physics.
And everything in the world is completely destructible, so
you'll see houses and buildings that get destroyed and deform realistically. Company of Heroes looks like a very innovative game, a very ambitious game. Definitely the best PC game of the show.
Of course Zelda was the big thing at E3, it's Zelda. Zelda is always huge.
Everything about that game, it so obviously had been like lovingly crafted by everyone on the team, like you just couldn't pick fault with it.
It really is a return to that look that I think people were, ever since that footage of Link Against Ganon, people were wanting.
I'm excited about the new graphical look because I think for myself I've been wanting like a more mature looking Link for a while.
It had so much that would make just fans kind of sit there and drool.
I mean, the gameplay looks like it is exactly what you would want from a Zelda game.
As well as the obligatory things that made people go, huh, like him turning into a wolf.
You got Link turn into a frickin' wolf? It's crazy.
Everyone's like, what?
Why would...
What the... Wolf?
I don't know how that fits into the whole game.
Twilight Princess actually looks like it could very well be the best Zelda game.
It's got everything that you'd expect out of a Zelda game, and then it throws just a little bit more at you.
One reason that I say that is because it has monkeys in it.
I mean, you've got Link on horseback.
You've got this kind of monkey buddy mechanic.
Link turning into a wolf.
Monkeys.
I can't wait to see more of it at this point because from what they showed at the show this year, now I am officially excited about that game.
It was just really hard not to be impressed by every level of that game that we got to play.
They definitely, of the show, had just really the biggest presence.
And that's the reason why it was easy for us to pick it as game of the show.